present situations, and the family, out of concern, you know, we had concerned members of the community who came on the call, and we pledged together and put our little money together, you know. I was able to give us strength, and, you know, then we made reports of when we started to the time to seal up. And, you know, we realized that it was important what we were doing. Most importantly, that the conference call provided us with that medium that was needed, where we could come together, you know, transcend barriers, physical barriers, and, you know, other man-made barriers that are set up to keep us separated. Through the medium of the conference call, we're able to come together and come up with, you know, just have discussions and come up with solutions. At the end of the day, ultimately, it's all about solutions, actually.
See, so, in a sense, what you're saying then is, from the location of the U.S., the conference call has helped you to overcome space issues, because it goes beyond the New York area. It includes what, a global kind of...
Yes, so we had representation from South Africa, Ghana, Ethiopia, United Kingdom, Jamaica, Guyana, and Virgin Islands, and the list goes on.
Seen.
Yeah. And what we'll find is that regardless of where we are, there are certain challenges that we deal with as a community. And there are times when we can reach out and help each other in different regions, you know. So that's where it started from.
What are some of the things related to Jamaica that you've been able to facilitate through this?
Well, one of the very first initiatives that we took on was Mama Bubbles, who is one of our ancients, who came on the first set of elders that left Jamaica to set up Nyabinghi mansions worldwide. And she was living just in the United States for a while and was having some living residential challenges. We came together, we were able to put some funds together to help her out in that situation. Then she had started having health issues. And again, the family came together and collected funds, and we had, you know, we used the human resources in the community, mostly in New York and Washington, D.C. area. We were ones who volunteered their time and their talents to assist her. And, you know, finally she lost the battle with cancer and transcended this life. And again, the family came together and prepared her structure for return to Jamaica and provided finances to transport it to Jamaica and to accommodate the last rites, the funeral and so forth.
See.
So that was a big undertaking, and we were proud. After doing that, we realized the potential of the conference call, where it would be an opportunity for us to come together globally. And I have to admit that we also got financial contributions from all over the world through PayPal and so forth.
See, you know,
so we decided that. Excuse me?
Well, continue.
Yeah, we recognizing the potential of the medium we were using. We then went about organizing ourselves, where we say, okay, instead of having to wait for each initiative and react to each problem that come along, why not plan ahead of time? Why not do projects and generate funds and have it in a kitchen so that when the inevitable happens, we are better able to handle them. Hence, John emerged.
Yeah, Bingy Glenn, as you're talking, I'm reminded that in by and large, it seems as though that facility is, by virtue of its organizing and perhaps location, is looking at some things that, as a community, we haven't found framework to address in a systematic way. Recently we were talking to ones in Ethiopia, and they were telling us of a range of challenges there as it concerns administrating and managing the land, and the idea of the Shimagli as a council to help with decisions and to more or less take charge of matters related to the community because of its first-hand access. I'm hearing from what you're saying a telephone system that seems to have begun to bring this kind of mediation, and scrutiny to the range of challenges that we face. By way of its participation, I know it's global, but how do you think such a facility could be more directly linked to our work here in Jamaica? I know that there are individuals like Ras Niaah and Ras Niaah and Sister Mitzi who have participated, but I think by and large many people are not aware of that kind of initiative. What can we do to get a more direct input in such a initiative?
Yes, well, Rastalani, the potential is there to bring together the community and human resources that we have to create dialogue and to discuss and come up with solutions and put them to fruition. It has never been done before, just like in many areas, and we don't say it with any apology, because when you look at spirituality and you look around the world, Rastafari is young compared to the others that are more established that we can mention. And so we know that there's a lot that needs to be accomplished, and we know that there are challenges that we're taking on, certain undertakings that have never been done before. I mean, let's face it, Rastafari rise up amongst, the poor, the underprivileged, the deprived, the downtrodden and so forth, and it has risen up, and the challenges are even greater for I and I, but now we have evolved, we have grown over time. We are now,
Bingy,
those who are babe and suckling are now in a position where they can step up and make contributions.
One moment, just hold for us a second. We're going to a break to come forward, so just hold a minute, please.
Brother.
It's better to have it and don't need it, more than to need it. And
Reggae Radio, Irie FM.
Yes, Rasta. Stepping Razor, Thursdays 2 to 6 p.m. per Irie. Come with an open mind. Open your mind. Don't just hear. Listen. This is not radio. This is Irie FM. Dangerous.
Stepping Razor, this and every Thursday, 2 to 6 p.m. Yes, Rasta, the art of war.
Everything you always wanted to say, but didn't.
Forward.
Yeah, this is The Cutting Edge. I'm Jelani Niaah sitting in for Mutabaruka. We are on the phone line with Bingi Glenn, coordinator of the Tron teleconference forum. And Bingi, you were responding to my question about how it is from Jamaica that link can be more purposeful. We have this as a platform that, really creates opportunities for networking at a range of levels, hopefully for solutions. So yeah, you were saying, Bingi Glenn?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you. Thanks for holding.
Okay. Yeah, man, we'll understand all the thing up. Yeah, okay, so really and truly, what would be great is that if we could combine human resources the world over to create a oneness in this Rastafari liberty. Because, Jelani, I look at it like this. When we started out as a movement, Now with 3-4 generations deep, children and children's children and so forth. And so now we have real movements, challenges that we're dealing with. So we have to unite ourselves. We have to organize and centralize as His Majesty commanded us to do, and we have to follow the structure.
Yeah, man, it's a global community we're talking about, and one of the reasons why I was interested in your participation is that we tend to forget that there are many persons incubated within Rastafari locally, but many of them leave Jamaica and still continue their active Rastafari lives in the range of places that they find themselves, and in a way are looking into Jamaica for a range of links and other kinds of prospects. Tell us how it is, the setup of the call. When does it occur? What kind? I know you're looking for serious persons who are interested in the kind of purposeful dialogue you have, but how would one engage?
Okay, the calls, the general conference calls are every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Okay, and
that's your New York time, which is what, an hour
10 a.m.
ahead of
9 o'clock your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yes, it is. That now in the summer it's an hour ahead.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and when in participation of the cause, it is a forum where we try to provide authentic information where there are concerns. As you know, in this day of modern media, a lot of information goes out there, and it's hard to sort through all of it and to get to the truth. And so we try to get authentic information to the family. At the same time, we're looking to organize and centralize, like I said before. We're talking about doing things as has never been done within the Rastafari family before. We've never spoken up membership on no serious level. And the fact
except for within the 12 tribes. But you're talking within the Nyabinghi family, I suppose.
Within the Nyabinghi, yes, yeah. Because it's, as I said before, it is a Nyabinghi conference call. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's open to all.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to point out that the reason why we're focused on say Nyabinghi per se is because the majority of the ones who were calling on the call were Nyabinghi, and we also were concerned that some of our elders were involved in certain, their names were being called anyway, saying that they were supportive of certain songs like, Sisla being president of Rasta and so forth. And we thought that, well, look, the Nyabinghi, we need to organize ourselves some more. We need to address these issues. We need to make sure that we live our creed. We take care of our elders, we take care of our children and so forth. All of this is nation building, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decide that we need to challenge these things, we need to overcome them, and that we need to unite ourselves. So what we're hoping is that we can network with the Nyabinghi family in Jamaica as well, the world over. And being that Jamaica is the maker of this art, whatever happens in Jamaica, it affects the entire globe. And so we find it necessary that if things are affecting us like that, we should be able to can affect it in certain ways. All over the globe, you find Rasta, and there seems like in every way, but it's not everybody who's a Rasta that really willing to do the work, that really have the pure intentions, okay, and who are willing to do the work, okay, and to try to build the community. So in Jamaica, you find the same version sisters who every year it's the same names are here doing the work. In New York, the same brothers and sisters. In Miami, the same brothers and sisters. In Washington, D.C., the same brothers and sisters. Ethiopia, Shashamane, the world over. So if we could have a forum where we could all come together, put all our human resources, put our heads together, and come up with some solutions, some viable solutions for the community. This is a time when we have to pay attention to His Majesty's teachings and bring them to life. So one thing His Majesty has told us from the very beginning is that we have to have constitution, we have to have governance, proper governance, we have to have proper administration, and it has been lacking, not just in the Nyabinghi, but Rastafari. Now, let me say, if you want to help someone else to stand up and to walk, you have to first be on your foot. And the Nyabinghi, I have to admit, has a ways to go where it can fully sit at the table and contribute to all, just like all the other mansions within Rastafari. Sean would like to know that it can offer this platform where ones from all over the world can come together and talk about the problems we have, solutions, and come up with some organized administration, deal with it, finances, you understand, the social problems and so forth.
Bingy,
very real.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to look outside, but so, people criticize looking outside sometimes, but when we're looking outside at our community and it engages the diaspora, because what I'm really saying is that this is a global family. We have suffered from all kinds of brain drain, where ones have left Jamaica and in a sense, everyone is trying to leave Jamaica at some level or form because of how desperate people feel here sometimes. And I'm saying with that as a reality, and the reality of our best resources being among those who wish to leave, then what I would say is that this kind of forum bridges that brain drain as well, because it as you said, it combines the resources. Tell us how it is that we could input if we wish. We're going to, we're trying to wrap up. So give us a sense how ones could participate. You said it's 9 o'clock Jamaica time on a Sunday morning. How could one join this if they wish?
Okay. The conference call number is 559.
Yes.
726-1200. That's 559-726-1200. The access code is 961-635. 961-635.
Okay.
Okay, we have some protocols and guidelines that we as you would most likely understand. It's an international conference call, and we just have some basic rules that we function by. Okay. We give the opportunity, like I said, for ones to input, to dialogue, to come up with possible solutions to problems, to update ourselves on information, and to see if we can correct some of the propaganda, the negative propaganda that's out there. Other than that, we have some deeper problems that we're trying to deal with, so we don't have to keep reacting to situations. And at the same time, we are concerned about what goes on in Jamaica, and we'd like to know that as we have some of the brethren and sisters in Jamaica, such as Ras Niaah, from time to time, Sister Mitzi, when she's asked, will come forward and will try to answer questions and bring us information. One situation is, for instance, with Mama Fire, who was having a situation, and we did help the best way we could. And Sister Mitzi was there assisting Mama Fire, and whatever we could channel to help her from a financial perspective, she made sure that it was put to proper use. You know, and I'm so very proud of the work that she's doing down there. And it's this sort of networking that I think that can help to elevate the movement and keep us going in the right direction.
All right, my brother. We're going to thank you for staying up to take this call. I know you're a man that would normally not be up at this hour, whereas with the 1 hour ahead. You say the conference call number is 559.726.1200 with access code number 1961635.
That is it, my brother. And I do apologize to the family. It's been a long day, and I'm somewhat drained. I'm not as sharp as I normally am.
No, you're good, man.
If you catch me 5 o'clock in the morning, it will be a different story. But I do give thanks for the opportunity, Ras Jalan, and please keep up the good work, my brother. And I hope that at another time, when I'm more alert and revived, I can better articulate the goals and objectives.
We give thanks for the input and you know, Jah guide and protect. Give thanks for the word sounds about the Tron initiative. Important use of technology to bridge the gap that we face as a community, as a global community. We kind of underrate ourselves and don't understand what it is we are managing. But we're really managing a diverse and expansive unit, this Rastafari movement, and you know, even as it globalizes, it has its own specificity based on its mansions and the challenges. You know, the racial issues now emerging. Rasta in Europe as a big thing, especially connected to reggae music, and you know, the whole summer. Summer is taken over by European Rasta reggae festivals, so to speak. So things changing and moving rapidly. We're going to go back into the archives of Ras Niaah with another sound from original selector Kingston. And then we're going to a break.
I love you once, I love you twice, I even love you to the end and beyond.
This foundation is in the holy mountains of Zion. Mount Zion land. That's where I and I Rasta man come from.
We have a caller?
I believe the artist is Albert John. I love it.
All right, my brother. Where are you calling from? Olaba. Yeah, man, you're going proper. That's a rare ear that you have.
No, that's correct.
It is very much so, correct. The one and only, Ilawe.
Yes.
Yeah, man, hear him up there, yeah?
He is right here, you can hear him for yourself.
Hi, Sacha.
Yes, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because when my youth and we used to rap dance in a Wolaba, you know?
I hear you.
Yeah, him grew up.
Yeah, man, Jollof Crow, no, man.
Yeah, man, Jollof Crow. Yeah, that's our first crow, no, man. Bill Crow and put on way.
When that song was made, you have any idea what year?
Alright, that song there is...
No, it was time.
Yeah, man, give thanks for the call.
That song is the only version of Fredlock's Black Star Liner.
Okay. You mean the only dancer DJ version?
The only DJ version. Okay. From the vocal by Fredlock himself, yeah.
So about when that would be? Sometime in the 70s?
Yeah, like about 76. So,
okay. Yeah. Did it get much rotation on the air? I mean, I don't think I've heard it outside of here.
Got it in the... Well, the 12 Tribe was like a radio station by itself.
I hear you.
Where promote the songs that the brethren and the sisters sing. So we really would like to hear any other song where the artists them in the 12 Tribe.
You have a come a 12 Tribe.
Come a 12 Tribe dance, and you have an Orthodox selection will start from 12 o'clock till 3.
Yeah. When you say Orthodox selection, you're talking?
The songs that the brethren them sing, the sisters them, and even songs where point to Ethiopia, love, joy, happiness. All the Rasta used to try to communicate the happiness within the music. Yeah, that was the Orthodox. I know you have a whole part of derogatory songs where they couldn't classify as Orthodox. Yeah.
So, you actually start out very, very early, not only as a member of the 12 Tribes, but as one of its core music makers, players of instrument and also selectors.
Yeah.
How early was that? Did you start with the organization at the first?
The organization started 68 and I be a member 72.
Okay, so you come in a little while after.
Yeah.
And you would have been fairly young at that time?
Yeah,
teens,
18, 19, yeah. And when I joined the organization, I never joined the 12 Tribe. I joined the Ethiopian World Federation, Charter 15. And at the time, as we have Dew's book record was there, we get A96 for my book. So when we join, we get less than 100. Less than 100 person was there at the time.
Okay.
When we join.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, very early.
All right. So you are, what's your tribe's name again?
Yeah.
Well,
me and Naphtali.
You're Naphtali.
Born January, born the 15th of January,
So what, you're the first, you're among the first Naphthalis, is what you're saying?
Well, I not really.
Not really, because by then there are a number of
executive,
like
first and second, and who was seated on the bench, plus other brethren who would have born the same one like me. You know, I would call them Naphtali, you know.
So what bring on to 12 Tribes at that point in time? You are already musically trained, and tell us about the upbringing earlier, a little of that.
Like from creation?
No, well, from when you start music.
Oh yeah, we start the music at age 13 at Alpha, you know.
Oh, you're Alpha?
Yeah, I'm an Alpha student, you know. Yeah.
Sister Ignatius.
Sister Ignatius, she's like a genius, you know. Although them are Roman Catholic.
So you end up at Alpha. Alpha enough a rude and sorry, I shouldn't say that, but Alpha had a kind of
rehabilitation. Well, me I was one of the man who really word is why rehabilitated in this time, because when I look dangerous, I think if me never get rehabilitation. I get it very early.
I have to believe that.
Yeah, because I'm 7 years old, I was taken from my yard.
Okay.
And taken to some approved school. I go 5 approved school in Jamaica.
Okay.
And then Alpha was the last one. Some reached Alpha when I was 13.
So from your 7, them label you.
Them label me,
And music, what, transform you to
the full transformation.
Yeah. Alpha, I think many people would say they've had similar experiences where them go there and come out as leading players of instruments or music.
It's really funny because my parents couldn't, me never see a music school yet. You know, and to do them where I see in Alpha, as me say, I know rich people pick their children where them say problematic and thing. And at them not get the opportunity. So that proved to me now, so the brain they just want to get some awakening, because them youth they know not about music, and they eventually become top musician in the island of Jamaica by, you know, the introduction of...
In fact, you kind of highlight the irony, because those children are underprivileged in most instances, but through Alpha they got,
no man is school, no music school, not earth. And I never go up at the camp out of the citadel, no, I can't show you. And 40 members who, them are senior musicians in the regiment, and the other band there. I mentioned, like, when I in the band Alpha now, we have man like Philip and Joma. We have an ex-brother by the name of Plumber, Alex Joma. We have our next drummer, top drummer, used to call Legion, and Stewart, he used to play with Byron Lee and things. So after we leave school now, every man have a place where a man don't suffer. Yeah, you always seated in a position, await for you. So when Alpha create this mission, space was always there for them.
Yeah.
Waiting whether in the regiment or the military band, or you go join Byron Lee or the top band at the time, Scatterlight.
But Alpha was fairly rigorous as far as training, because it's 6 days a week and theory and...
Yeah, because my time in the day, it's like, say, we go school like 8:45. And by 11:45 now, we leave school and then lunch, and then like 1:45 now, I attend school in the morning, we go trading this time, like from 1:45 we go trade, and then 3 o'clock now we go music.
Not finish school at 3?
Yeah, because we have to start now. We go band rehearsal and, you go to theory and practical.
It sounds like the youth them not occupied enough nowadays. Because what you're saying is a full
clock. You call it the clock.
Yeah.
So you get up 6 in the morning, you have to brush your teeth. It's a principle I like, myself. Every family, everyone who is listening, take this really into consideration. You tell, make you them have them guidance by themselves with your guidance, them balance. You know what I mean? You brush your teeth, wash your face, stand up by your bed, make sure it properly spread, and everything. And I want to come around and see that. And if you're in up your bed now, you're gone at PP Street. And I can't, we down there in the dormitory where, you sleep on spring and you sleep on, as you know, see the kind of violence, the sweet violence.
Polite violence.
You're gone from your mattress to the spring.
Because you don't deserve.
You don't deserve a mattress because wet it up. So, so it have a principle where everything just removed by the clock. Yeah, by 7 you have to do that. By 8, 9, 10. So as I like to say, well, after you have breakfast, you wash your hands and clean yourself now and prepare for going to trade. We go trade, like some go school in the morning, and some go trade, like you have electronics, you have tile, all these things right here.
So the focus was not one-sided. Persons, if they weren't talented musically, they would at least have had life skill trade-wise.
Yeah, you have a time now you go to garden. I do in a week. Everybody have to go to the garden and we plant to produce. Then like December now we sorrel. Yeah.
Okay. Coming from your own initiative. Yeah, man, it's all like we need a few more Alpha Academy.
Yeah, I do. And I heard that they were having problems down here now.
Yeah, man, major problems, which we won't even get into.
Yeah, too far.
Yeah, man. But, so basically then, Alpha set the foundation for a career that you subsequently developed. All right. We're going to come back to more of Albert Johnson, a.k.a. Ila. We're going to the anthem and break.
You hear that? Strike it.
Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes to Mary Jane. I was born on Solomon's grave. That's why Rasta people get so brave.
Yeah. Listening to the sounds expressing the rights to herbs. We have a clip, a short film that, a short CD which we're going to share with you on ganja as a cure for cancer. This is a cutting edge. I'm Jelani Nyah sitting in for Mutabaruka, who will be back tomorrow on Stepping Razor. I am in the studio with Ras Niaah, Albert Johnson, sharing some of his archives and a little of his story this evening. You don't have no herb songs, Ras Niaah. The Jalov didn't have that as part of it.
Yeah, well, the herb was in the dance.
I hear you. Yeah, you didn't have to talk about it.
No, I talk about it because in the DJ would highlight. Yeah. All right, we used to play.
But there's you told us about a brigadier.
Yeah.
That a brigadier song that all the chalice man them bring out them.
Yeah. It used to happen. Is the Jalov sound make me know Jamaica? Because there's no parish in Jamaica we never play, you know what I mean?
Same.
You are turn on the other caller, the first caller there from, I don't know, Wolaba there. You want to go over them crown, build the crown, put pan brigadier and pan my head. Yeah. Wolaba was the #1 dance, especially, dance party on a Sunday. I can't believe it.
Okay.
More money making a Wolaba on a Sunday night when I sat there. I don't know, Wolaba is just like that. Yeah. So,
the vibes.
The vibes are the herb, like when you go to Yuatan now, we used to say, Yuatan where the strong ganja come from. And then, nigga will get jealous now. I say, them want to jealous because we say, there now, the Wolaba there. And then we go to Yuatan. Man like Goldhead, Mr. Steel, all youth them used to run the thing down there.
So it sounds like that is a big plus for the Sturgarf dance. There's a dance there August 30 featuring Sturgarf this year.
That in
Olaba. We'll tell you more about that as the time comes closer, but look out for that date, Sturgarf in Olaba, August 30. I think it's Speedy and his Empress who are the hosts for that one. And of course, Ilawe and the crew and all of the Manningsville Massive come out to support that. I want to heal up Idea at the Vineyard, who is a consistent listener. Bungo on the front page as well. We're going to now feature a CD called The Cure for Brain Cancer, looking at treatment with marijuana. So we're going to run that. It's not a long tape, so listen keenly and then we can talk some more when that is finished.
The active chemical in marijuana kills brain cancer cells. The study suggests that THC causes brain cancer cells to essentially eat themselves. In both studies with mice and humans, tumors exposed to the drug shrink. The study's authors say patients didn't suffer any toxic side effects, and the results could be used to develop new strategies for preventing tumor growth.
Strong evidence the active ingredient in marijuana may stop early cases of Alzheimer's disease. Researchers at the Scripps Institute found THC may prevent the progression of the disease by preserving levels of an important neurotransmitter that allows the brain to function. The discovery could lead to a more effective drug treatment for Alzheimer's, which is the leading cause of dementia among the elderly.
Here's a story you'll want to remember. Could marijuana really help with memory? A new study out of Ohio University is looking into that possibility. Scientists say that specific elements of marijuana can be good for the aging brain by reducing inflammation. They also say it could possibly even stimulate the formation of new brain cells. Inflammation of the brain is believed to contribute to memory impairment.
Hundreds of studies suggest cannabis oil specifically has potential.
Harvard University did a study where brain cancer was being cured by cannabis oil.
But there are roadblocks to continuing that study.
We can't use it on humans because basically the government has taken all the rights.
Study at Canada's University of Saskatchewan found that a synthetic chemical derived from marijuana actually makes new cells grow in rat brains, Mr. Capehart. After giving rats high doses of the chemical, researchers found a 40% increase in new brain cell formation. Drugs like alcohol and nicotine suppress the growth of new cells, but the study shows marijuana may actually be good for brain cell growth.
One of the 400 compounds in cannabis is about to be tested in human trials to see if it can delay the onset of memory loss. A plant so controversial for its mind-altering qualities is exciting experts about its possible clinical benefits.
Cannabis, as it is, normally smoked, has mind-blowing properties, and there are compounds in there which has this hallucinogenic properties. However, some of the indications for Alzheimer's in a mouse model is just a single compound that's used from cannabis plant material, which is extracted, and it can stop the memory loss. Now, if we take that single compound and apply it to humans in clinical trials, we could prove for those 400,000 Alzheimer patients whether it could be used for those.
Studies in mice have shown that the cannabis derivative called cannabidiol, which is not hallucinogenic, can prevent the progression to memory loss in Alzheimer's disease.
Hi there, this is Dr. Bob Melamede, and I'm glad to see that some people are questioning my comments regarding cannabis's ability to kill cancer cells. And references for all of this are publicly available. They were done by researchers all around the world, not myself, through countless countries, countless researchers have been doing this kind of work. And it also happens to agree with historical uses of cannabis as cures for tumors, as they were called. So what I would advise you to do, the easiest way to get to some of this information, is go to PubMed. Do a Google search for PubMed. It's a National Institute of Health database, and punch in cannabinoids and cancer, and you will get hundreds of articles where you'll be able to see at least the abstracts for all of them, and that will at least convince you to the accuracy of the statements that I've made regarding cannabis's ability to kill cancer cells.
We now find that marijuana fights cancer, and they've known about it for nigh on 40 years, which means that if you think back to all the friends and family who've croaked from cancer, and think about these monsters in government who knew that marijuana showed promise in curing cancer, we have one of the biggest genocides, second biggest genocide next to usury, in the history to be talking about. Study finds no cancer-marijuana connection. By Mark Kaufman, Washington Post, staff writer, Friday, May 26, 2003. The largest study of its kind has unexpectedly concluded that smoking marijuana, even regularly and heavily, does not lead to lung cancer. The new findings were against our expectations, said Donald Tashkin of the University of California at Los Angeles, a pulmonologist who studied marijuana for 30 years. Tashkin's group had hypothesized that marijuana would raise the risk of cancer on the basis of earlier human studies, lab studies of animals, and the fact that marijuana users inhale more deeply and generally hold the smoke in their lungs longer than tobacco smokers, exposing them to the dangerous chemicals for a longer time. In addition, Tashkin said previous studies found that marijuana tar has 50% higher concentrations of chemicals linked to cancer than tobacco cigarette tar. While no association between marijuana, smoking, and cancer was found, the study findings did find a 20-fold increase in lung cancer among people who smoke 2 or more packs a day. He says, we hypothesized that there would be a positive association between marijuana use and lung cancer, and that the association would be more positive with heavier use. He said, what we found instead was no association at all, and even a suggestion of some protective effect. Protective effect against cancer. Federal health and drug enforcement officials have widely used Tashkin's previous work on marijuana to make the case that the drug is dangerous. Tashkin said that while he still believes it's potentially harmful, its cancer-causing effects appear to be of less concern than previously thought. Actually, no concern.
This is cancer. This is cannabis oil. This is cancer on cannabis oil. Any questions?
I'd have questions too if I was you. So here's my story. My name's Dave Triplett, and I cured my skin cancer using cannabis oil.
Several years ago, I had 2 lesions removed from the tip of my nose. In 2009, the lesions began to return in several places. I went to the doctor, and the doctor gave me a prescription for a cream. He told me to put the cream on my entire face and neck. He also told me to wait until after the holidays to use it because it may cause some redness. I did a Google search for the cream and I realized it was chemotherapy. Next, I found some photojournals of people who have used the cream. The photos, as you can see, are quite alarming. After seeing the results of what the chemotherapy cream can do, I decided to look into alternatives. Recently, my friend Jennifer has sent me a video about Rick Simpson curing cancer with hemp oil. It was called Run from the Cure, so I decided to start there. After I watched Run from the Cure, I began to do some searches. I was really surprised at how much information was available. These are a few of the videos I found.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 American women every year. Researchers in the San Francisco lab are working to shrink that number, and they're doing it with an unusual weapon, marijuana.
It's not just THC. These trichomes contain CBD, another valuable chemical.
We're fascinated by this stuff.
What we found is that this compound called Cannabinoid was particularly effective at inhibiting aggressive breast cancer.
Discovered that despite my training in medicine and science, I had been brainwashed with this substance, marijuana, that in fact it's remarkably non-toxic. There's never been a death from it. And I went from there. And that started me on a long interest in researching this substance.
Marijuana may actually help reduce the risk of certain types of cancer. A new Brown University study found long-term pot users are 62% less likely to develop head and neck cancers. This includes cancers of the mouth, tongue, nose, sinus, throat, and lymph nodes.
Breast cancer, prostate cancer, pheochromocytoma, lymphoma, leukemia, skin cancer, a whole variety of cancers that in experimental situations, meaning in tissue culture or in animal models, you can in fact show that cannabinoids kill these cancers.
Into its bloodstream and was carried to its brain. There it met the cannabinoid receptor evolved so many millions of years earlier in the humble sea squirt. And it just so happened to fit, like a key in a lock.
Researchers suggest chemicals found in pot called cannabinoids can have an anti-tumor effect.
People are quite excited about the ability of these cannabinoids to kill cancer cells.
After a few more searches and watching a few more videos, I decided it was time to get myself some cannabis oil. Because I live in California, I was able to go to one of the dispensaries to get some hemp oil. At the dispensaries, they refer to it as hash oil. It's also called honey oil and cannabis extract. Most people in California, such as myself, refer to it as hash oil. I used the oil for 3 to 4 weeks before I saw any results. Then the results were dramatic. Not only was the oil healing my nose, but it was bringing cancer to the surface that I didn't even know was there. Here are the pictures of my nose being healed. Cannabis extract, or hash oil. As you saw, the cancer was pulled to the surface and healed. Pretty dramatic. In this side view, you can clearly see the cancer being pulled to the surface and healed. The greenish brown stuff you see is the oil. Once I realized that the hash oil had cured my cancer, I began to ask myself questions. Why hadn't my doctor heard about this? Why hadn't I heard about this before? If cannabis cures cancer, why would it be illegal? As I did more research, I began to realize it's about profit and politics.
But unless big pharmaceutical companies are behind these things, they may go nowhere. Is that it?
Well, actually, Lloyd, I've had 2 other stories where drugs have shown great promise in the preclinical phase, and because they were orphan drugs and no one picked up, nobody could get the patent on it, they've gone nowhere. Drug companies won't be interested in funding studies for a drug that won't make them a profit.
This drug has great promise, so why aren't companies and institutions lining up to get behind it?
Because the drug isn't patented. If someone invests in researching it, they're not going to make a profit because anyone can make it. Costs, some say, about $100 million to get a new drug through all the phases of testing onto the market. So it will be interesting to see if this old drug actually gets a new chance at becoming an anti-cancer medication.
Typically get this eureka kind of feeling, and it's actually the most exciting thing a scientist can get.
I'm not going to have time to go into the history and politics of cannabis. I'll save that for the next video. I can tell you that cannabis used to be a very, very common medication. It was available in many forms. Here's a few examples of antique cannabis medications. This is a homeopathic cannabis sativa bottle. These are some cannabis indica tablets. This is a cannabis indica cough syrup. This is a bottle of cannabis pills. This is a bottle of cannabis extract. This is another bottle of cannabis extract. This is Dr. James Cannabis Indica Extract.
While driving through Jamaica, there's only one radio station I listen to. Irie FM, Irie FM, Irie FM, Irie FM.
Reggae Radio, Irie FM.
Yeah, now we get the original version of that, or the original of the version you just heard. Yeah, you're listening to the sounds of, well, originally inspired by your work, Ras Niaah.
Yes,
you wrote.
Yeah.
And then we heard Daughter doing the modern. Empress Sativa, and then Father. And the version we're hearing now is...
Verse 16.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives in England,
The track is called? Children of His Majesty.
Children of the Emperor.
Of the Emperor. And when you did this?
I sang this song in 1974.
Okay. A while back.
Yeah. And she, Empress, she born in 1984. And... she come did it.
When did she record this?
So you really still I don't know she record it. Because I have this song and through them band come here and play music. Yeah, so me have a next daughter where,
also sings.
She really not good. From she about 4-year-old. Yeah, but Empress now never groom her.
She come take it.
Herself.
She come take it.
Come take it up.
Yeah.
Her room was next to my music room. So at night times, everything we play she hear.
Long in the room,
yeah, but I never know say she night so much still,
And I mean, as you have seen, she's holding her own and charting her own course.
She
taking it.
Upon her own
taking it up and dealing with it well.
I really it's not even the original rhythm she did it on, she came up with some technology. She and Janai and Janai, a generation of youth were inspired.
So she did it for herself.
Yeah, she do it the way like, you can hear some guitar chords. That when me hear it now, because I never know, after she done it, I hear it,
Yeah.
So she go to the studio and them take the track and, improvise on it. And then after me hear it, actually when it go a street, I say, well, so wearing, she never have to ask.
The generation have to come and do what they're doing.
She never have to ask for that guidance. She know we're supposed to follow on from the foundation we said. So
well, I mean, it must, in a sense, you've been in this for a while, and you're a grandfather now as well. So you've seen a whole lot of the development of this business, especially as it relates to the space of the dance hall and the production. You as a man with legacy, as well as much to offer, how you see what's happening now? I know they talk about reggae revival and all that.
And dub club and even tonight they have a dub club.
And vinyl tours.
Vinyl tours, they miss that era there, which after the band now and hear what was happening then, and them say them sorry whenever I band them there. Because so much nice thing, especially music. Like take for instance the first song that we play. On the beach. I'm on a 13-year-old when that dance keep, and I was in Alpha at 13. And if you hear the quality of the music at the time, and the actual vibration with the DJ himself, like King Stitch now, yeah. In the half of the people in the dance and a skank. It's a different thing now in the dance. Because the DJ more nowadays promote himself. And him is even louder than the song. And him say more thing more with the song. He said the song roughly would have said 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
In fact, the real thing is that the DJ was in a sense introducing songs that were important for the dance fans to hear.
Yeah.
And therefore you want them to hear it.
Yeah. But now he promote for himself. And not really knows, you know, the person who sing the song spend time with the mind game, and I think about what to put to the people and to make them have that understanding. You know, and him now realize him supposed to make that song play out. Because how we used to do it, I know I come see the elders them do it. You play the vocal and the DJ sit back. And if you make a little space, a gap, him say something, but not much. Because I want the audience to hear the message that is being sent. Then now, when you read him, the dub now, him have the whole thing for himself. But it's because now the DJ them now don't do dub. They just chat. So now, the time when they would have played the dub, they don't play the dub. So when the vocal play and the dub play, to that takes 6-7 minutes. Then play 14 tune in a 7 minute, like 2 seconds, 5 seconds. So what really happen now, they might improvise on the music too. And the more improvise, show what they heard from foreign. It's not a creation of where we, as younger DJs, for instance, Brigadier Jerry, you know, General Trees, Josie Whale, Charlie Chaplin, all the DJs that came along before, they have this creativity about them, you know. So the things that they would really say in the dance is like a man a drink a Guinness and a buckle drop and hear a DJ say, you know, no want no dance, no wine, no dance, you know. A man of a job, no broke no buckle, and if whole pack cock in a dance, and the DJ see him, so liquor sell off, because he can't find a buckle with a cock. You know what I mean? So it kind of did a more joy and happiness for even stay in a dance longer. But I would say, what is really happening to my personal idea, when we see, it's a part of the process. Yeah, because it's both good and evil balance the earth. And those people you may say them not did not expressing the right, you know, words. They have people that listen to them, and they are followers. If they never have followers, they wouldn't fulfill that obligation.
In fact, that's the one thing we know, that the dance hall is for every generation.
Yeah.
A big. You started out early, attending and working in the dance.
Yeah.
And in a sense, that tradition still continues. Any words to parents in terms of how them youth might be? I mean, we hear the story over and over about youth attracted to this and how it is perceived by their parents as far as the influence.
I think a different generation of parenting. So, you know. But, you know, our early days now, you find so most of the dance youth, them did have to run out of the house. Your mother never knows them leave. When you go a jollof in them days, you know, what I realized at the time, it was just young youth that go dance, it was no old people. So some youth at 12, 13, 14 in I time did have the opportunity to sneak out of their mother house and go listen to jollof. It was no old people. So some youth at 12, 13, 14 in I time did have the opportunity to sneak out of their mother house and go listen to jollof. Because if you ask anyone for calling and tell you what age them go jollof, the more make you know, and the man you know would all say 50, 60. And the man tell you say, when I'm at 13 and 14 and run out, go listen to jollof and come in back, and you know, them mother and them have little thing, but at the time, through the bringing things like say crime and violence through the music, them parents, they never know them kind of word there with music, crime and violence. Because they were people who used to go to dance, have a nice time, you know, enjoy music. And you used to have to look a bad man in them days, but I don't know, gangsters we are carry this bag of gun. Go dance, we kill nobody but frighten people. So you kill one, know everybody know you're gonna preach a person of interest. So it better not. So with parents now, you know, if you communicate more with your children when you touch music, I don't know what will be the musical star. You know, I never seen nothing like this before. I never know reggae that goes so far, you know, to the time where I live, you know. But, you know, it's like a cake, you know what I mean? Everyone can have a slice. And if you want, you can cut 2 slices, 3, because the DJ them now don't want DJ anymore, they want to sing. So for all the years, most DJ were DJing, and now the artists they express themselves. So you have some DJ. I think apartheid too.
A man like you had always shown that versatility, though. I mean, you sing and DJ as well.
Yeah, but as I say, alright, even when we started that jamic music, the Jollof sound started from jamic music, you know, and I was a DJ for jamic music during the time like that, like from 72, 73, 74, before Jollof come into inception. And then Brigadier now as a youth, you know.
Brigadier is younger than you.
Yeah, I am 5 years old and roughly. Okay. So, he used to go to school and you find, you know, like on a Friday, would all carry all him dance clothes in his school bag. And then by 2 o'clock now, we jump in on the truck, Jalo VW truck, and head off to Westmoreland and ram dance. So, what about the message was that his youth, that was kind of message to the big people. So when you go in a Jollof dance, Brigadier a youth, and no youth never go dance in our time. As we say, a man go broke out and just run and come in. But a big people, yeah, people, when me in a dance in at 18, me say, you're 30-year-old, go up. Big man, you know.
Your point is still relevant, you know, because even now the producer of the music, the people who are singing are very young. And the people are entertaining range of age group, but them speaking to adults and bigger people, but them young still.
So you don't much for parent worry about the youth, because it's an inspiration where them the parent never even see happen in life. Some parent never know so them son will be millionaire. And buy cars and, you know, fix up your house and make the family happy. And make other people with food, you know, like the crew and all these things. So, you know.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you said that, because in wealthy societies, the musicians come from the top of the society, you know. Generally, the most privileged families that can produce musicians, while in our society
is the least privileged.
Is the least privileged that find this yearning to develop musical abilities. So it's a part of that same polite violence conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, there's a violent era in our music, you know. You know, we're in. People listen to it. People get kicks out of it. The new term now, hype and things like that. Because you know what time was just, as a man that say, culture, you know, roots and culture. But now it's hype and some other new thing.
Yeah, we're going to come back to some more of the Jollof days, but we're going to a break now. This is The Cutting Edge.
You hear that?
Yeah, more of the sounds of Albert Johnson, aka Ras Niaah. Yeah, we're supplying you with some food for thought as we sit in for Muta, who is on his way forward, you know. But Muta will be here with you tomorrow afternoon for Stepping Razor. But you know, we're thinking through the systems, the way it represents itself, the idea of a kind of polite violence that we live on a day-to-day basis. The Ganja documentary, which you had the benefit of hearing, actually demonstrates how it is that it shrinks and removes the cancer And they do this by enhancing the film to show you the stages of reduction. But this is known. I mean, medicine is well aware of the value of ganja. And a part of the polite violence is that if this herb is free, then much of the big business around health and wellness would not be as big. Because what you would really be doing is planting a few trees and washing your eye with it when you have the glaucoma, and drinking the tea when you're coming down with fever, and smoking it when you're getting Alzheimer's. And when you're, what I'm saying is, you would find an application for all the herb, and you would not need so much of the imported synthetic pharmaceuticals. Who benefits from that? But the people who import them, and you need proper licenses and big certification to be able to get into those imports. So you understand, the herb is the small man's. It's like how dog eat grass and them get well. The herb is literally our grass in that sense, you know. Yeah, man. It's basic.
Animal, utilize it.
Yeah, it is one of those things that you know is going to regenerate, and that's what the research says. It regenerates brain cells. It regenerates or destroy cancer cells, and has a way of determining good versus bad cells when it works. Yeah, man, it's a serious thing, and the polite violence continues, because here it is, we're in front of the IMF with a sliding dollar. There are countries that are asking us to supply them with the cannabis that is good for the medical needs that they have that can't grow. Canada is one of those lining up.
Help people.
Yeah, man, and we with kind of, and that is also a part of the polite violence, because if you were to tell someone suffering from Alzheimer's here, you know, conservative, church-going person, that they might be assisted by herb, they would probably rather suffer the Alzheimer's than to go that route, you know. Because a part of it is a social conditioning, that this is a kind of, you know, something that is beneath the person, you know. You don't even want it. Some people tell you they get headache immediately when they smell it.
Yeah.
And that is what they call psychosomatic. It's really psychological. They're really getting a headache about the situation that would cause smoke, you know, cause them so offended.
Yeah.
But cigarette smoke, which is more likely to cause the physiological issues that headache would respond from.
And the smoking cars.
Yeah, all of those things. So the point is that there's a whole lot of mental liberation that is really in front of us, and I have a big role to play in those works, because we have been among the leading scientists,
of course,
in that regard. Right now, one of the big things is how the cannabis that is being sought, the ganja which is being promoted officially, is not even our ganja, but is ganja we are capable of growing, you know, if we are given the right strains. The Charlotte's Web is what they're saying is the big thing for epilepsy, especially in children. And the idea is that if we can get this under production in a sober way, there's endless possibility as far as revenue, etc. But have we done likewise work on our own ganja strains? You know, we have, and that's the point.
I think suppressed.
We have suppressed that research, and we're still not rushing to get it in any way at the level that it needs to be in order to really heal the nation as it is that we know it can. We're going to open the phone lines and, you know, invite ones to, you know, share their thoughts, if they have any questions that they wish to put to our studio guests, stroke co-host, Ras Niaah. Ras Niaah. He's here and willing to take your calls as well. We've also, directed individuals to the conversation happening in the United States as far as the Nyabinghi administration is concerned. You can, give us feed forward on that, your thoughts as to kind of ventures we can do, likewise to help our own administration locally, which is urgently too in need of some help.
Self-help program.
Yeah, man. And, Ras Niaah, a man like you, how do we see you in operation these days? I mean, we got a taste of you at Dub Club a couple months ago. Yourself and Pablo.
Yeah.
But
there's a taste.
Yeah, man. I mean, with all of what is happening in the scene, you don't think it's time we get to really see you in full flight, in action, in the space that is coming forward?
The time ripe now, you know what I mean? With everything that is going on. Because I was the sole, the sole promoter of herb smoking during the dance. In our time. The big student union up there, all who used to go student could tell you. Cloud of smoke. No student body, no gila fan, nobody. It was, and they are the scientists and professors.
So
and what even have nothing to say against it. So I wondering why, after 30 years,
is you make it okay to smoke urban dance?
Yeah, we and brigadier. Yeah, because we used to go to Yuatan, where they say Yuatan the Changanja come from. I'm wondering why the government don't remember what happened down the road, that they don't have no memory that when you go into Yuatan Square, you could look up on the hill, Mount Rasa. You know, if you have no binocular, no eyeglass, and you see the whole of the ganja tree plant for years. That was happening the same when you go into that. And the police station was down the bottom there. And no raid wasn't taking place. And so I want to know if they have no memory, long-term memory, because Jamaican keep short-term memory. And, then after now, the white men came along like Coptic. This is how them take with the seed, which most of the herb plant of them, if you remember what took place, when the herb used to be planted by the original farmer, them, the DJ them used to glorify the plant, because I make the herb come, I must say, ganja plant by the woman and the man, and the juvenile that carry the water pan, because them tiny pipe,
whole family
pipe,
thing.
A family thing, because the family, survive through that, is a survival.
And still, even today,
So I could remember in St. Anne's, which was the first place where we really see it, Waki. Them did poor. And after them started selling, everybody started one concrete house, 2-story almost, John, we used to have just this and,
I think we have a caller, is that so? Good morning, welcome to Cutting Edge.
Yes, morning, this Thursday, the 17th of July, 2014. And, it is so important. I've been listening keenly to the interview, the reasoning rather, and we want more reasonings with people like Ilawi and so on, who are straight from the grassroots. Ilawi,
Honorable.
no frosty, a Mandingo man.
Honorable Mandingo, lion.
Yes, every time. In London, I listen to the eye, and it's really a
London City.
to hear.
Yes,
yes, yes. And it's really a joy to hear the eye telling it like it is to the people, because too many times what we have in Jamaica, where reggae, ska, and rocksteady, Mento, and so was created by I, the grassroots Africans of Jamaica. Too many times we have we have foreigners even coming to Jamaica and posing like they are experts and authorities on our music and the rest of our culture. And people like the I and others, both kings and queens, are not given the opportunity to tell it like it is. Because as Marcus Garvey says, only we can tell our own story. Because we don't hear about our music. We live it. Because we make it. And no one can teach our history and culture like us. And I hear you talking about the strong ganja from Yuatan.
Yeah.
And people, when you hear I always saying that, that's totally true, because I used to follow Jalove sound. And you hear him talking about the dances with Jalove by Old Harbour Bay. And Old Harbour Bay is the biggest fishing village in Jamaica, not Rocky Point. And also where I was born, Spanish Town, the whole capital, the dances of Jalove until daylight Sunday morning.
Talk about Prince Avenue. Don't say it.
Prince Avenue.
Yeah.
One of the biggest Jalove dances at Prince Avenue. Go on straight until Sunday morning, daylight, and they are selecting and operating.
Mandingo, I know why you saw me to save the economy at the small man, you know. I could remember ice cement no sell again, and people saw sell ice cement and make a money and could have go send you them to school. You understand? You can imagine ice cement, you know, ice cement night dance, and man sell fry can and orange and all this thing and keep him family alive. So something is there stopping the small man economy from strive.
Yes, definitely, because what it did is that it gave our grassroots people a way of surviving, of sustaining their family. And this is why I am totally against both PNP and GLP parties for cracking down so hard on the dances. Because the dances weren't just dances, but they were also an avenue for our people to sell things, to be able to feed their family.
Festival,
yes, and one of the upsetting things is that when in the time of PJ Patterson, it came in, and of course the GLP continued with the same thing, you know, the two of them is the same, to say that dances must end at 2 o'clock. Now, what I have always said, don't say the dances must end at 2 o'clock. Say turn down the sound at 2 o'clock, the volume. Turn down the sound
you
at
know,
2
Mandingo,
o'clock.
1 second. I think what I like hear from them personally, you know. When I like Mr. PJ come on the radio, come tell the people them thing. When I hear youth, I heard that he was the man.
In his time, but he was manager of Scatterlight.
Man, yeah, right. That was going to. He was managing the Scatterlight. That band we here to play the first song, the studio one there. So all this man used to manage this band and these people, and then you could come along after it and fight against it. Then now the other person now say he used to manage Dennis Brown and have labels and dynamics and all this thing, and them same one come along. So something wrong with the two government. They need to clash them together and come with one creative idea to make ganja and the music work together. Cause we say, Yale Honorable Robert Nesta Malo, you know, big speech for Muta all over the world. And nobody in the world vex over
don't forget the minister for ganja himself, Peter Tosh, the man, the stepping razor, man from Westmoreland.
Stepping razor, man. Is that tomorrow you'll get that?
My favorite whaler, Peter Tosh.
So, Mandina, 1 minute before you move, tell I how much songs, how much artists you produce in Jamaica?
One of Sugar Miner's first hits, Every Little Thing You Run to Babylon, original reading, was my production for my Mandingo label. General Echo, first hit. And by the way, with the Sugar Miner, Every Little Thing You Run to Babylon, his first hit was Vanity, and Alton Ellis, I Am Just the Guy with him, Studio One, and him sing that. Then the second...
That's your production. That's your production.
No. Every Little Thing, after them first hit Vanity for Studio One, then he had my own, which is Every Little Thing You Run to Babylon, and at the same time to Mr. DC for Studio One. Both Every Little Thing You Run to Babylon and Mr. DC for Studio One came out at the same time.
I want him have Black Roots.
And then Black Roots later now. Yeah, what happened is that he and brethren from Frog City, Maxfield Park, they had a label known as Black Roots.
That Blacker.
Yes,
I name Black Roots.
Brethren Blacker. Yes, man.
Remember, I know, we used to play drum. I used to play drum as Sugar One, 1979, 80 when Sugar just to leave Sugar One, and go to Girls Town. At a down Maxfield.
Yes.
And him call me.
Yeah, man, right beside Frog City.
So I play all of them drum there, pan Sugar Man, at Man Hungry and all them thing there, and before him go do over some of them.
That is one of my favorite Sugar Man, Man Hungry.
Yeah, and then him go make Youth Man promotion. So Sugar Man really come from far, really start him off.
Yes, man, and then we have 51 Storm, you never born.
Yeah, we play the jump on that too.
With Repatriation.
Yeah, then Repatriation name, man. Sugar Man say when him tap it that out of the time. But the archive and the anthology is there.
Man. Because you see, people, I want you to know this. This is not Ilawi saying this, but Ilawi is one of the most versatile and gifted people in Jamaican music. This is Mandingo saying it, telling it like it is. He's not only a DJ, he's not only a selector and operator, he's also a A1 drummer and a producer. So the versatility of
writer
Albert
as well.
Johnson, Malawi, I the Mandingo, telling the world this, because this is not an opinion that I am giving. It is the truth that I am speaking.
We need more reason.
This, brethren.
I like, the facts. I go and come and realize we're still alive. Yeah.
But you see, we can't depend on them to do things for us, As Marcus Garvey says, self-reliance. We have to do what we have to do. And you see the brethren who is reasoning with this idea. I congratulate that brethren for bringing the eye on the station to make the world hear what the eye has to say. Because it is each one helping each one for the message to go out. Because without we having words of how our story go and what we should do for the future, then there is no future for the youths. Because we, as the adults, the elders, we have to show the youths the way. And as they say, in the beginning there was the word, and there will always be the word, and it's words we using to educate the youth. One thing about Alpha there that you mentioned it as a approved school. Slight correction with that concern. At Alpha, it wasn't just so-called approved thing. You had students there who the parents had gone abroad and they left them for the sisters at Alpha to take care of and so on.
One different department that. Mandingo, different department that. You have Alpha Girls School, you have the boys' school. You have the junior home.
I'm talking the boys' school. I'm talking the boys' school.
You see the part where I went? You have to commit yourself somewhere, and you have to go to that to get that rehabilitation. The people know who send them children to care about.
That sector of it.
Yeah.
But you have a sector of it. Because I have brethren who went not in
boarding, like a boarding.
Committing anything.
Yeah.
Yes, a kind of boarding thing. I have personal brethren and that type of thing. And by the way, another Alpha boys man is around here in England, Vingarden, the great Vingarden.
Yeah, man, them Chammy man, they will go school together, yeah.
Yes, man, so it's
really, man. I mean, I play a tune and when blow pan,
I will do.
Yes,
I will do, my brethren.
Yes, give thanks for your input,
just keep on with the good work, and we hope to see you here, this side of the world, playing the music and pushing the music.
And it's not too hard, just send for
General Echo Fursit Sex Educational Class was produced by me also.
Yeah.
Alright, give thanks, Mandingo. We have something for you coming up. So listen out for a late Sugar Minot doing some work on a Lawe track. We're going to play that for you.
Blessed love. And don't forget Barry Brown, Sugar Minot, Bridging and King, who me produce a tune named Rasta, Man, Woman of Dignity.
Alright, my brother, give thanks.
Alright then, Mandingo. Thank you very much for your input. Yes.
We're going to go to a break now.
Yeah.
While driving through Jamaica, there's only one radio station I listen to. Irie FM, Irie FM, Irie FM.
It's been a long, long time.
Yeah. Bless up.
We're listening to what?
The one of Mandingo in England, you know. Yeah. That song, Sugar Minot harmonize all the tracks them, and I man sing it, you know. Him demand me to sing the tune.
This is his song that he wrote?
No, I wrote the
song.
song.
Your song, but
I just went to talk to him about something, and him just say, he must play the song, and I was listening to him. I said, I will listen to you. I mean, you know, me I grumble something. I say, go and sing it. I say, sure, no man at 20, I'm not going to the studio. You understand me?
This is shortly before he passed?
Yeah, we did this Tuesday, and he died this Saturday.
Okay.
This was his last voice on a recording in his life.
All right.
You know?
What's the name of the song?
Where Is the Love.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to go with it now.
A vast virus database has been updated.